there is no escape, nor do we want it. We've come to thrive on it and each other. You can't get the adrenaline pumping without the terror, good people.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Christian Hanna Horror here. All right, so you guys have been messaging me. I gave it a rest for a while, but hey, are we going to get more horror Blu-rays I want you to own? I've started to dive into specific ones, but I think it seems like you guys enjoy it even more when I just grab movies I like. And sometimes they'll be from a lot of the same labels, and sometimes they won't. I did the same here. I grabbed 5 movies that I really like, and I'm going to show them. I forget the volume number in here, but I'll make a playlist. That way you can go back and enjoy all of the ones I've done and spend money, which is the name of the game, right? First of all, I ordered a shirt from Fangoria not long ago. I mean, from Parathreads not long ago. Excuse me. What was it? Fright Rags. And they gave me a mini Fangoria magazine about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Very cool. All right. So number 5 is a movie I fell in love with. Now, this was a movie that I did not know really much about before. I never watched it or heard much about it. And when I watched this movie, fell in love with it. And quite frankly, it's one of my favorite Jamie Lee Curtis movies, but she's not really the star of the film. The star of this film is Stacy Keach, the great Stacy Keach. That movie is Road Games. I love this movie. I think this is one of the best outings for Jamie Lee because she's in a good movie with this really great story and a great lead. Stacy Keach is just magnificent in this. I thought he was so good. I love this movie. I don't want to spoil it. Again, I don't like to spoil movies that I try to recommend to you guys, but I can't say enough good things about Road Games. I think it's a great thriller suspense movie. I think it's got some really good scenes in it. Just some really good stuff. And Stacy Keach carries the movie like an absolute professional. He's fantastic. So if you haven't seen Road Games, guys, absolutely highly recommend this one to you. This is from Scream Factory. There is new interviews with Stacy Keach, new commentaries with cinematographer, production coordinators, script reads, new Brian May, who's, you know him, Brian May's a legend in the business. He did the music for this. A bunch of special features, tons of them. So this is from Scream Factory. One of the better cover arts they ever did too. It's I feel like the cover art for Scream Factory's gotten a little lesser lately. Like, I really like the way they made their movies look about 4 years ago or so. They did some great stuff. I don't know if they're not using the same artists or not, but that's neither here or there. The next movie, again, is actually from Scream Factory. I Come in Peace, also known as Dark Angel. Now, this is a horror movie, don't get me wrong. This is a Dolph Lundgren action horror flick. That's right. And I don't think you can really get better than combining those two elements. What do you do when you're a cop who has this love interest who you don't take care of her as best as you should, but she really loves you, so she sticks by your side? You get a new partner that you're not ready to deal with. Meanwhile, an alien comes down from a different planet and starts raising hell. Well, you fight him like Dolph Lundgren, of course. Dark Angel is a great little flick. This is not too long after Rocky IV, so Dolph was establishing his own career at the time. And this was a movie that really gave him some footing, I think, because Dolph, like a lot of actors that I see, now I'm not a professional, but in my experience, what it seems like to me is some actors perform better when they're around talented people as opposed to when they're the star of a lower budget film. Like, I've seen some Dolph Lundgren stuff where he's the star and they get local people to do it's a cheaper movie and he's the best actor, which is not great. I love Dolph, don't get me wrong. He's great in Universal Soldier, Rocky IV. This is a movie where he's around good actors and he improves too. He does some great martial arts stuff in here. There is an amazing chase scene in a car parking lot where the alien is jumping on the hood of cars while they're exploding. What a movie. Very fun, guys. Dark Angel. This is a cheap one, too. If you see Dark Angel online, get this one. You can get really cheap. Dark Angel is really cool. I love this movie. You do get a new interview with Dolph Lundgren in here and the director, so great little budget blue, as they say, from Scream Factory. Next, me and my wife loved this movie. There are two kinds of people in this world. Crispin Glover fans and people who don't know that they're Crispin Glover fans yet. I'm talking to both of you. For those that are, if you don't own this movie, which I'm sure you've seen it, you need to get it. For those of you that aren't Crispin Glover fans yet, you need to get your hands on the Willard remake. This is my favorite Willard. I will go on record saying it now. I love Willard. I need to watch Ben, which I have from Scream Factory, and if I like it, I'll talk about that soon in a future episode. But this remake, I loved it. I loved it. Crispin is great in this movie. He just knows how to make you feel for him. He's got that almost Final Girl-esque thing about him in this movie, which this isn't a slasher film, but he's got that thing that just makes you want to care for him and protect him. He's just a sad soul, but he's just also a very good actor at the end of the day. You know, this actually has Arlie Ermy, I believe, as the he's the boss in the place that Willard works, and there's a lot of rats in this movie. And Crispin goes for it. Set design in this movie was great. This is a good remake. This is a really good remake. I don't know if it's my favorite. I don't know if I would say it's better than the original. I would almost say yes, but I'd really have to watch them back to back to know. But this is my favorite of them. I just love Crispin Glover and Willard. This is from Scream Factory as well. Please go for this one, guys. I can't put over Willard enough. Great stuff. Great movie. I love this movie, and I didn't talk about this movie for one reason or another, but I'm talking about it here. So when I watched In Search of Darkness, the first one, there were a few movies that I didn't notice, and I would write them down. And this was by far and away my favorite movie from that documentary that I hadn't seen yet. Cat People. This is the Cat People remake. Holy smokes, I fell in love with this movie. You could almost say this is kind of like a werewolf style movie, but there's a sensuality to it that I loved so much. Natasha Kinski and Malcolm McDowell, I believe I'm pronouncing her name right. First off, she is gorgeous in this movie. She draws you in with her eyes. She's just this. I mean, the movie's about big wild. Big wild cats, in the movie. I forget the exact type of cat it was. Not a black cat, or a jaguar or whatever. I forget. Just watch the movie. It's been about a year since I'd seen it because I saw this right when In Search of Darkness came out, and there were a few gore scenes in here that blew me away. Transformation stuff is great. But there's more that meets the eye to this movie. It's like it's a mindful movie. It's a sensual movie because of it being, it's cat people. But I loved it. I loved Malcolm McDowell in this movie. He was so great. I just really love this movie. So if you haven't seen Cat People, guys, I'm begging you to give this one a shot. I loved it. My absolute, actually, look, Roger Ebert gave it 3.5 stars out of 4. Kinski is something. He's right. She just draws you in. She's beautiful in this movie. So I love this movie. If this is the takeaway for me for this episode, usually I try to tell you which my biggest pick of the set is. This one, Cat People from Scream Factory. I love it. For those that are fans of gore, you won't be disappointed. For those of fans of 80s horror, I don't think you'll be disappointed either. And I believe David Bowie did some music on here. Which the music was great, but I don't remember it being the standout of the movie. I really think that some of the gore in this was just like, holy smokes! Wasn't expecting that. So, definitely go for Cat People. Loved it. And last is actually a Warner Archive Blu-ray I wanted to do. I'm a big fan of this film, to be quite honest with you. I've talked about the werewolf films from '81. You've got, The Howling, which I think is the best. American Werewolf in London. Full Moon High, which I love, and then there's Wolfen. Now, the reason I'm doing Wolfen is because on another rewatch of this, what I think Wolfen does so well is be a great story, a great mystery type of horror film. Although from the start you kind of see what's going on, but this is a very well constructed movie. This is what you would call that slow burn, but I think that this movie is very, very just well made. It's got a really great story. It's got that big city feel to it, that detective kind of thing to it. And I love the ending without saying anything else. Wolfen is a good movie. I think Wolfen would have a little bit more of a bump in the pop culture, horror world, not necessarily pop culture, but the horror world, had it not been, you know, sledgehammered more or less by The Howling and American Werewolf. But with that being said, this film does have an audience, and I would like to get you to become an extra person to that audience if you haven't seen it yet. If you're a werewolf fan, it's definitely one you want to check out. Although, actually, I won't even say anything else about it. But I do like this film a lot. It looked really good. I mean, this Warner Archive looked great. So I'm a big Wolfen fan, guys. I definitely recommend this from Warner Archive. Probably my favorite Warner Archive I own besides the Leatherface or, you know, what have you. But that is 5 horror Blu-rays I want you to own, volume whatever. You'll see the volume number in the video. We're back. I'm going to do more of these. I gave this series a rest for a bit. I started doing, you know, particular labels, but I think you guys appreciate it more when I just grab movies I love. I don't think about the label. So, I hope those are all available. I think they are. Let me know if you guys own those titles. If you do, please, for future videos, tell me. There's a few movies I'm going to watch that will possibly be a next one. There's a Demi Moore Scream Factory movie I got. I think it's called The Seventh Sign I need to watch. So that's on the docket to watch. I've got some Vinegar Syndrome movies, as a matter of fact, I'm going to watch. So that could be in some new ones. One of them is a Malcolm McDowell movie, too. So very excited for that. So yeah, Christian Hanna Horror. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which titles you don't have that you would like to get, and we can discuss further in the comment section below. Thank you guys. We'll see you later.